Welcome to Lost Skis, I'm Blaine, and today on Nike vs. Jordan, we're going to jump ahead to the year 1991 and talk about that Nike Air Flight Huarache and the Air Jordan 7.
Okay, real quick. Sometimes in this video I say 91, let's just pretend I'm saying 92.
So, I don't actually have a pair of Air Flight Huaraches, but I do have a pair of Nike Air Huaraches, which is the running shoe which inspired the two basketball shoes which I had just mentioned. This is a common trend with Nike. You've noticed, for example, technologies like Lunar Lawn, which were first in a running shoe, that later found their way into basketball shoes, or even if you look at the original Air Max, the Air Max 1 inspired the Air Jordan 3, as well as the Air Assaults and the Nike Air Revolutions and the shoes that we talked about that came out in the year 1988. So anyway, let's take a look at this Nike Air Huarache and see a couple of things that are new to this technology. So first, you'll notice that the tongue is made out of this neoprene material, which has this really cool logo that says Huarache or Air Huarache by Nike. Very unique. Besides that, there's this heel counter, which was also found on the flight variation. This heel counter, which kind of has the neoprene, and then there's this rubber stamp that stops you. And the rest of the shoe is made out of suede and different rubbers. And that's basically all that there is to it. If you look at the actual basketball shoe, it's a mid-cut shoe or maybe a pseudo high. It has this ankle support system that wraps around the neoprene sock, and then there's a lacing system. You'll notice that there's actually no Nike check on the shoe, and Nike's thinking was, who else but Nike would be daring enough to make a shoe that looks like this, so that's why there is a lack of a Nike check. And if I'm not mistaken, this is the first time that the brand decided to release shoes without Nike checks. Similarly, it was the first year that the Jordan shoe released without a Nike check. And the year previous to this, and up until then, there was either at least a Nike check on the shoe that was incorporated in the design, or a Nike Air logo usually found on the back of the shoe with the check intact to let you know that it was indeed a Nike shoe. These shoes, this particular year, only shipped with the word Nike on them, but not actually a check. So what are the similarities? Well, let's look at this Jordan 7 real quick. So again, you'll see that it has this neoprene tongue, which basically wraps your foot. It has this, I don't want to call it ankle support, but it gives you the illusion that there's ankle support. There's a pull tab here on the back of the neoprene, and you'll notice again, as I said earlier, there's absolutely no Nike checks on here. There's actually doesn't say Nike anywhere on it. It just says Air Jordan on the tongue, and it dons the Jordan logo on this fake ankle support system. So, sidebar, the Air Jordan 7 was actually the first Jordan I had. I had it in the Cardinal colorway. You might think that would lead me to be biased towards this particular shoe, but it's quite contrary. I prefer the Nike Air Flight, or the Nike Air Huarache Flight, to the Air Jordan 7. I just like the color schemes that they came out with better. I prefer the design of the shoe, the look, the feel, the actual Huarache logo that comes on the tongue. So for this particular year, I'm going with the Nike Air Huarache Flight. What about you guys? What do you want? You prefer the Jordan 7 or the Nike Huarache? Let me know. One last sidebar. If you look at the archives, we'll get a picture for that, and you look at the original design by Tinker Hatfield, who, he's designed a lot of Jordans and a lot of iconic Nike shoes as well. He designed both the Huarache Flight, the Huarache Flight and the Air Jordan 7. But if you look at the early design, it's kind of, again, like we saw with the 88 year in the Jordan 3, there are a lot of similarities between these two shoes, right? So you'll notice that, well, first off, there's a Nike check. Second, there is indeed there's a nylon pull tab, which on the basketball flight version, they got rid of that. There's also, there's the flight. So they changed up the flight logo from time to time, but there's the flight logo on the side. and there's more of a kind of like more of a funky design to it that looks more like it was pushed towards the Jordan 7, where the Huarache was stripped down but still had a very unique look. So anyway, that's what it is. Nike versus Jordan 1991. What are you taking, the 7s or the Flight Huaraches? Let me know. Okay, peace.